Hello guys, welcome to Golden Sun. I have a lot of notes for this video, so if you see me looking down, that is why. This is a beautiful introduction into this platform. In case you do not know, Golden Sun is a sacred space and soul school for ascension and awakening, okay? This is a portal into the New Earth timeline where we unlearn karmic conditioning, raise our frequency, and activate deep healing to restore the harmony within ourselves, humanity, and the planet as a whole, since it is a conscious living being. I created this platform because I just got tired. I got tired of repeating cycles of pain, trauma, toxic relationships rooted in unawareness. I was tired of sabotaging my well-being through harmful habits and addictions that kept me stuck and disconnected from my true self. And most of all, I was tired of living in a reality that didn't reflect the world that I wanted for myself, for future generations, and for planet Mother Gaia. And that awakening led me to create this first video to explore what the new earth is and how we can begin shifting into that higher reality together. So where did the term new earth come from? If you're watching this, you're probably familiar with the term through social media. In this day and time, a lot of social media spiritual influencers post a lot about this term on Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I personally heard it from Dolores Cannon, who was a famous hypnotherapist, and just learning about her work changed my life, which we'll get into. But actually, it first appeared biblically in Revelation 21:1, which says, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth has passed away." In this context, the new earth symbolizes a renewed world, which a lot of today's influencers talk about, one of divine peace, harmony, and spiritual restoration after a time of great transformation, and is also seen as a promise of a higher reality aligned with God and free of suffering. And I'm just scrolling through my notes because I have a lot. So in modern spirituality and consciousness work, the term has been redefined as a energetic and vibrational shift, which I kind of learned about when I had my first spiritual awakening at 18 years old. So the new earth is no longer something we actually wait for, but it's something that we are co-creating through awakening. And this concept has been explored by many, including Eckhart Tolle, whose best-selling book, A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, brought the idea to mainstream consciousness. And so in it, he explains that the new earth is born through inner transformation, which I believe in. And I really have to read this book because I came up with this realization myself on my own through intuition, through praying to God. By dissolving the ego and embodying presence, we begin to shift the world from within. So it's all about doing inner work and healing yourself first to be able to emit that into the world and shifting your reality. I first discovered the term New Earth through Dolores Cannon. And she was a past life regressionist who guided thousands of people into deep states of hypnosis. And her clients consistently describe Earth splitting into two realities, one remaining in the old, and which consisted of dense patterns of fear and control, and another, which is the new Earth, vibrating with peace, freedom, and alignment. And that concept struck a deep chord with me, especially as I began waking up to my own toxic patterns and questioning the world around me and realizing that I no longer wanted to live a reality of pain, trauma, disappointment. Like, I literally got tired. And so that awakening is what led me to create this video, to explore what the new earth really means, how we shift into it, and how healing ourselves is key to transforming our future and the earth itself. It starts with you, baby. Okay? So now we're going to get into the different perspectives of the new earth, which I'm excited to talk about. So first we have our spiritual and consciousness perspective. So in the spiritual communities, the new earth refers to a shift in consciousness where humanity collectively evolves into a higher, more harmonious state of being, okay? And this is frequently tied to the new age spirituality, which we see on social media today. The Age of Aquarius, and also the idea of Earth transitioning into a new energetic frequency. So the key elements of the spiritual and consciousness perspective of the new world. The first one is higher vibrations and frequency. So many believe that the Earth is shifting from a lower vibrational state, which is fear, greed, division, hate, being in this rat race, you name it. It can go on and on. Things that don't make you feel good, things that it's just not with the higher alignment of what we are supposed to be. It just makes you feel miserable. And now we are shifting into a higher one. This is what we yearn from. We yearn to shift into love, into unity, into peace. And so this concept is associated with, doing practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and healing to raise your vibration to align with this state. Also changing your food, also practicing gratitude. The list may go on, but doing positive things, positive habits to create that reality. Number 2, awakening and unity consciousness. So the new earth is envisioned as a place where people recognize their interconnectedness and move beyond separations like race, religion, nationality, and socioeconomic status. And so that's why you meet a lot of spiritual people who say money doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, I was like that, but actually, I've realized that money is a spiritual thing. But when I was in art school, a lot of my work when I began, it was a lot about the trauma that I experienced and my generational trauma. So a lot of my work in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, I was talking about a lot of pain and trauma that I experienced, but also the pain and trauma that I felt from past generations. And I was angry. I was upset. I was in my Diary of a Mad Black Woman era. I kind of still am. But now my work has shifted into us forgiving each other and taking actual accountability so we can live in harmony with one another. But it starts with accountability, okay? Which we still struggle with till this day. It's okay. No, it's not. All right, so next one. And also with the awakening and unity consciousness, it emphasizes cooperation, mutual respect, and the dissolution of hierarchical structures. Number 3, the role of light workers. So in this vision, spiritual leaders, healers, and light workers are seen as guiding humanity into this new era by spreading awareness, healing trauma, and helping people awaken. And there is a lot. As you can see, when you go on social media, there are a lot of light workers awakening. That's why you see people tatted with 444, 777, because people have been awakening for the past decade, and some are completely aware of what they're supposed to be doing. Some do not right now. But there are a variety of light workers doing things in different fields to help with this shift, which I think is absolutely beautiful. And number 4, a paradigm shift. So society would shift from materialism and exploitation to one focused on, I can't even get my words out, sustainability, compassion, and holistic well-being. And yeah, we're going to see a new world where we are not so fond of trying to keep up with the Jonesies, because especially with the climate crisis that's going on, people are going to want to take care of the planet. In the future, yeah, we're going to be humbled. We're going to be humbled by Mother Gaia. And I keep telling people this, but it's the truth. But those are the 4 key elements of the new world. And now we're going to shift into the social and environmental perspective, okay? Okay, now we're gonna move into the social and environmental perspective of the new earth, okay? On social media, the new earth is often used in the context of envisioning societal change. This overlaps with activism, social justice movements, and environmental awareness. So the key features of social and environmental new earth are, number 1, breaking toxic systems. The new earth reflects the dismantling of oppressive systems like capitalism, racism, patriarchy, colonialism. The list may go on, because there are a lot of oppressive systems that need to be dismantled. And also many advocate for equitable systems that prioritize collective well-being over profit and power. That is going to be the focus in the new earth. So collective well-being over profit and power. Number 2, environmental sustainability. So in this new earth, we're going to be addressing climate change, which is something that we tend to bypass. We don't want to hear about that when somebody talks about a climate crisis. Nobody don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. So climate change and pollution is a central theme. The new earth envisions humanity living in harmony with nature, embracing renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and a minimal ecological footprint. And during this time, a lot of people are going to realize that Earth is actually a living entity, a living conscious entity. Earth is a living being. This is what I try to tell people, but it's true. And number 3, healing from trauma. So social media has amplified discussions around healing intergenerational trauma, breaking cycles of abuse, and fostering mental health awareness, which you see a lot of that on social media today, which I think is absolutely beautiful. These are often seen as foundational steps towards creating a healthier and a kinder world. And we're going to need that. We're going to need that. Okay? So I know you're probably asking, how does this relate to the Age of Aquarius? Because there has been so much talk about the Age of Aquarius when basically Pluto moved into Aquarius. But yes, we are in the Age of Aquarius. And many spiritual interpretations of the new earth is actually directly tied to the Age of Aquarius. And this is a concept from astrology symbolizing a transformative era of collective awakening, innovation, and equality. Oh my gosh, I just get so excited to talk about this. Like, who doesn't love Aquarian energy? Like, it's needed. It's needed right now. It's needed. So the new earth is seen as a physical manifestation of the Age of Aquarius, where spiritual ideals like oneness, truth, and higher consciousness reshape human societies. And it represents the transition from hierarchical and belief-driven age of Pisces to a knowledge-driven humanitarian age. The difference. So we were in the age of Pisces, but now we have shifted into the age of Aquarius. And I just love Aquarian energy. It's all about community. It's all about gaining knowledge. It's shifting away from, the blur and actually seeing things for what it is. So that's how it relates to the Age of Aquarius, in case you guys were wondering. Now we're going to shift over to how to actually shift into the new earth. Okay, now we're on to my favorite topic, how to shift into the new earth. Oh my God, I'm going to get so excited talking about this. So we're going to start off with the first thing. Number one, how to shift into the new earth. The biggest realization that I had, personal healing, becoming a beacon of change. It starts with you. It really starts with you. That is the truth. It starts with you. You can't wait. That used to be me waiting for somebody to show me that I was worthy of love, that I was worthy of a great life, wishing that somebody could love me the way that I wanted to. But no, it starts with you. It really starts with you. So in the new earth paradigm, individual healing is foundational to even shift into that reality. And a lot of people think that we're just going to sit around and wait for the change to happen. But the truth is, the change is not going to happen until you change yourself. That is the actual truth. So the idea is that by addressing personal traumas and breaking toxic patterns, individuals can ripple healing outward to their families, community, and society by being a living example yourself. Yes, you are going to piss off people. Yes, you are going to trigger people, but who cares? Because you're going to shift into a happier state of being. So number one, personal healing. Addressing trauma and cultivating inner peace to contribute to global harmony. You cannot heal in chaos. That's the truth. You cannot contribute to world peace if you do not have peace within yourself. That is the truth, okay? Number two, conscious living. Aligning your actions with your values, which is actually one of the most challenging things. And that's like the goal that I have for this year. But actually aligning your actions with the values. When you know that certain things are wrong, try to get into the habit of changing your ways. If you know that plastic bags are bad, especially when you go grocery shopping, get a reusable one. It really starts with that very small thing, and that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to do. So, adopting sustainable habits, supporting local communities, and choosing mindful consumption, okay? Number three, community building, creating inclusive, supportive spaces online or offline that reflect the ideals of the new earth. And that can be in any way you think, but anything that's positive, anything that's bettering the planet and bettering the people, that is community building for the new earth. And number four, spiritual awakening. Engaging in practices such as meditation, journaling, and introspection, which is the most important thing, to explore deeper truths and align with higher consciousness. If you cannot look at your own self in the mirror, your own problems, you're not going to be able to awaken at all. And that is the truth. So how can you integrate this? Share your healing journey, which is what I'm doing right now to help motivate people to try, at least attempt to be better. So documenting your own process of overcoming trauma and toxic cycles, sharing vulnerable and relatable stories so people don't feel as alone, because when we go through these things, especially traumatic things, like we often feel like we're alone until somebody actually speaks up about their story and realize that they're not alone. And that's been happening to me a lot this year, and it has been a blessing, because when I was going through my traumatic things, I really thought I was the only one. And also offering actionable steps and affirmations to the world and for yourself. And then focus on empowerment tools. So educate your audience on practical tools for self-healing, such as journaling prompts, breath work, guided meditation. And there's more things that you can do online as well, but these are just some examples. And these tools empower others to actually take control of their healing process and give them the motivation that they can actually do this. And then collaboration with healers. So partner with therapists, sound healers, or spiritual guides to create content, live sessions, or courses that resonate with your audience. Now we're going to move into the next slide, which is conscious living, okay? So how to shift into the new earth. Number 2, conscious living in alignment with the new earth. The new earth calls for conscious actions that are aligned with higher values, prioritizing sustainability, equity, and intentionality in daily life. And like I said, this is a really big goal of mine this year, because the past 8 years after my first spiritual awakening, I started to become aware of the paradoxes and the glitches in our reality, the things that are messed up, the things that are wrong. But I honestly didn't have the energy to act on it because nobody else was acting on it. And when you live in a world where people genuinely, they just don't care, and that's the problem, lacking empathy, it's hard to implement that when you don't see others. So like I said, it really starts with you first, to prove as an example and to show as an example that it is possible to change, because we still live in a very pessimistic environment in society right now where things are just going haywire right now and everybody's just tired. Everybody's tired, but somebody has to stand up. Somebody has to gain that energy and realize that change is still possible. If you think about all of the movements that have happened in our history, it took a lot of work. And we're too busy behind our phones because we don't want to work. So get your ass up. Get up. Okay? It's time. The time is now. So how can you integrate this? Highlighting sustainable practices. If you can promote eco-friendly habits like reducing waste, eating plant-based meals, or buying ethically produced foods on your social media or sharing that with your friends and family, that is great, okay? Creating content showing how sustainable living is not only good for the planet, but also spiritually grounding. Number 2, promote the healing power of food. Giving your focus on detoxing from food. If you are very passionate about food, you could teach your audience about nourishing their bodies with healing foods, sharing recipes, benefits of herbs, or meal prep ideas with a spiritual or holistic twist, okay? And you see a lot of those people on Instagram, thank God. I'd be hungry at night watching those videos though. But this is what is needed for us to realize that we can eat healthier, especially in America where fast food is highly promoted and it's everywhere. Food is very important. And also tying our actions to purpose. So showing how even mundane decisions like what we buy, how we spend our time, connect to the greater vision of the new earth. It's very small things. Don't get overwhelmed, okay? But we can do this together. And that's why I created Golden Sun. We're going to move on to the next slide, okay? All right, for our third slide on how to shift into the new earth. Breaking systems of oppression. Reclaiming power. So what does this mean? Many envision the new earth as a space where oppressive systems such as racism, patriarchy, and capitalism no longer dominates our world. Instead, equity and fairness prevails. How can we integrate this into the new earth and help us make that shift? Number 1, we need to focus on prioritizing, centering Black, Indigenous, and other oppressed voices that are happening at this moment in time. So uplifting the voices of healers, artists, and activists who are working to create this new reality where we all live in harmony, and we are being fair to one another, and we are treating each other with mutual respect. Collaborating on projects and sharing research, resources, donating, volunteering for organizations to help with those who are oppressed, and celebrating the achievements within those oppressed communities, okay? Challenging harmful narratives, creating content that addresses how societal structures perpetuate trauma and how people can reclaim their power. And last, educating others on systemic change. So providing your audience, whether that's through social media or even if you don't even have a social media, educating your friends and family on actionable ways to fight these systems. It's really important, especially during this time and day, having somebody in our office who is already deporting people back to Mexico and putting people in concentration camps. Like, what's happening is actually primitive. This is primitive behavior. Having no control of your emotions. We have people in our office having no control of our emotions, still living in ego, wanting all the power they could possibly have. That is primitive behavior. So it's time for us to stand up. It's time for us to act out. That's number 3 for you guys. Moving on to the next slide. Number 4 on how to shift into the new earth. Spiritual awakening. Connecting to your soul's purpose. This is one of my favorites. So what does this mean? The new earth is deeply spiritual. The new reality that we are shifting in is emphasizing that humanity is transitioning into a higher frequency, awakening to everybody's individual soul purpose and spiritual gifts. And this is seen as a collective transformation. So how can we integrate this? Number 1, teaching about energy and vibration, offering content explaining concepts like energy blocks, chakras, vibration, in a digestible and non-intimidating way. Also reminding people that we are spiritual beings and we don't even have to force these ideals onto others, because ultimately for me, I am a promoter. I can't even get my words out. Oh my God. Promoter of appreciating all perspectives of life. So I feel like, a lot of some spiritual gurus are like, you have to believe this is how the world functions. But our reality, we are going to shift into realizing that our reality, our beliefs affect our reality. So whatever you believe in, that is ultimately going to be your reality. Whether that's your religion, whether what you believe in as far as what's going to happen when we die, even if you don't even believe you have a soul. But I feel like now people are realizing that the world that we are living in right now, very spiritual. We are infinite beings living in this reality to teach us, to help us evolve. And I personally believe that we were brought here to evolve, to learn in this 3D realm, to be able to evolve on a soul level when we do transition and die and leave this physical body. But I want to learn about all religions. I want to learn about all perspectives of life, because ultimately I believe that I am just a student of this realm right now. So no judgment for me. Number 2, using art as a spiritual tool. This is one of the many ways. But we see a lot of artists and then also a lot of practitioners like Reiki healers, amazing sound bowl, sound healing healers. There is going to be a rise in alternative ways of healing besides going to the doctor. because they're benefiting. They're getting a paycheck off of us treating ourselves like crap. So yeah, and also last, facilitating spiritual dialogues. So hosting discussions on topics like soul contracts, the Age of Aquarius, and that's what started my spiritual awakening, because I started finding lectures on this and other spiritual themes resonating with your audience, using Instagram Live or YouTube to foster community engagement. So yeah, this slide is all about figuring out who you are and how you can transmute that energy out into the world to help others. So I'm going to close out this video with some just closing thoughts. But I really do want to say that change is possible. It is really possible. You really have the power to change yourself, and you have the power to change the world. And it's very simple. All you have to do is change yourself. The rest will fall together or emit outwards. I grew up, with people telling me that, like, we can't change the world, like, it's just too much of a burden. But literally, it starts with yourself. It literally starts with yourself. And once you start changing yourself, you will encourage others to change as well. And your whole reality will shift. All of the things that I mentioned, it's possible. Take it day by day. You do not have to do all of those things at once. But in each slide, you can at least try to tackle doing at least one thing per month. One thing every 3 months, okay? But if you truly are tired of living in a world filled with pain, trauma, just unnecessary hate, abuse, being disconnected from the planet, being isolated because we live in a very isolated type society, and you yearn for connection, for true love, for being in peace and harmony with your neighbors and your friends, forgiving and letting go, the time is now. And I have declared the time is now for me. So are you ascending with me or not? I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Like I said, hit the subscribe button if you want to hear more divine knowledge to help elevate yourself so we can elevate together. Welcome to Golden Sun. Goodbye, guys.